Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
You know, I noticed last week, we didn't play any music last week. Did you notice that?
Baba Booey. Yeah. I was like, fuck. Yeah, I guess I just didn't remember.
That's okay. Because like we logged off and I was like, oh, damn, we didn't do any music. And I was like,
there was something missing.
I worked so hard on these tunes, man. People have to appreciate my AI work.
And I felt like something. I'm like, wait, something felt off about that. I'm like, oh, I didn't play the music.
We were too excited to talk about Betty and Barney Hill. I know I was. As soon as you brought that up as like a topic we should talk about, I was like, yes. Because I think I've mentioned Betty and Barney Hill like once every like 2 episodes. I always bring it back
so many times. Yeah, and you always reference them too whenever something comes up because it's such a well documented case, and it's original. It's old. It's one of the first ones. That really, I mean, it was scientists, it was psychologists, it was the government. Yeah, everyone came. So it's a great case. You know, we probably didn't do it complete justice, but I think we got a lot. But you had a good point. You know, when we cover a case that's that big and that important, you know, we don't have to do like the weekly updates, since this is so much to go through.
Yeah.
But you know, I think for people. For our listeners, I think it was a good intro into the subject.
It's a good way to dip your toe into UFO lore. I mean, we said it. You just said it. I mean, it was the original, you know, the original big case that had everyone involved, and it's what kind of sparked the whole, you know, UFO abduction phenomenon for a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's not to say people weren't abducted before them, but this is the first one that went public and became big time. And people started looking at their own weird adventures in the woods with weird, small, big-nosed Italian people.
and missing time.
And they go, oh, crap. Yeah, this happened to me, too.
Yeah, actually, one of our viewers posted a comment saying that every time because those quote-unquote aliens were wearing clothes, regular clothes and shirts. And he's like, every time I hear that, I just think of time-traveling humans.
Yeah.
You know?
Scary thought. It's a really scary thought.
It is.
Sometime in the future, I'd love to cover another Betty alien abduction case, Betty Andreessen. I've read I think it's called the Andreessen Report, the Andreessen Affair. Another really fun alien abduction case where she gets taken, a woman, a mother of 5, I believe, and very religious woman who.
What state?
Huh?
Do you remember what state?
I don't remember what state. I think it happened in the 60s, but she was a very religious woman, and she thought she was meeting with angels. And so her entire experience is through the lens of thinking she's having a religious experience. And she saw some really cool LSD type shit, man.
Really? Okay, let's cover that one. So, Betty Andreessen.
Yeah, let's pivot. Let's cover that right now. You've got everything lined up, right?
No, next week.
Okay, next. Well, okay, geez. If I can, let's see if I can Google it really quick. I believe it's called the Andreessen Affair.
I'm shocked. I don't remember it.
Affair.
But like you said,
the Andreessen Affair. Yeah, wow, good memory.
Oh, nice. But like you said, everything happens. It's not subjective. I mean, she objectively had experience, but the subjectivity part of it is her filtering it through her religious perspective.
Yeah,
right?
And that story for sure, you know, that has led me to the conclusion that, you know, it is when you are abducted by aliens, it's partially a psychic phenomena, and your brain filters it through whatever previous experiences you've had, just in life in general. I'm not talking about other alien experiences. So, you know, Betty and Barney Hill, Barney, of course, he was totally freaked out because, again, he was a black man married to a white at a time where that wasn't okay in many places. And so he is going through this entirely fear-based.
Nazis. He basically said they look like Nazis, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Betty was the carefree. I don't know how to describe her.
Yeah, she was more calm, right?
Pleasant woman, and she got to deal with the quote-unquote leader,
right?
You know, and have experiences that were. Well, I was going to say more pleasant, but at the same time, they did shove a needle in her stomach to see if she was pregnant or not.
Yeah, that's a good point because Barney kept his eyes shut. That's how scared he was. He didn't want to open them, and they actually encouraged him. They're like, you know what, just keep your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Don't open them.
Let us put this cup-like device over your penis. Yes, you will get warts. Yes, it's totally worth it.
You will get warts. And that device extracted semen, right? Just like that.
Yeah, that's what he believed to have happened. He's pretty tight-lipped about it. You know what? Never mind. I was going to make a joke about maybe it was a very fun experience, but he's so ashamed by it. He was quiet about it, but no, obviously Betty and Barney Hill went through a very terrible ordeal, and God, those clips we played last week of them underneath hypnosis was just terrifying. And I live for that stuff, but man, gives you goosebumps. It's so freaky. They were clearly freaked out. It was not a trip to the grocery store.
No, it was not.
Does that sound like a trip to the grocery store?
It does. From the 50s, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was last episode, and this week we're doing a new episode. Can you believe that, folks? New episode,
another one. Yes.
What are we on? 114?
114 is correct.
This is episode 114. We've been doing this for a while now.
3 years, 3 years, maybe more.
3 years. My goodness.
I know.
This is the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. That is I Have a Need to Know, Adam.
Hell yeah.
And will the aliens finally arrive? Well, time will tell, Topher. Time will tell. I
like this one. And that applies to everything. Oh, which is, I didn't even tell you this. What the reason why I started Out of Range, the conversation with you, is because time will tell. It reminded me of the scientists saying that underneath them, the hole is a river of time, they think.
Yeah. It was a good show for 2 seasons that will never be concluded. So don't watch Outer Range unless you are okay with cliffhangers.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Cliffhangers for the rest of your life.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I liked that show while it lasted, and I was interested to see where they were going with it.
Yeah, I'll finish up season 2 probably this next couple of weeks. I enjoyed it.
I like the setting. They actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, I don't know if you've gotten this far in season 2, but they mentioned my hometown.
Yes. Who lived there? Wait, that's in the first episode.
They talk about going to Whitefish, Montana.
That's right. Yeah. I'm trying to
where I grew up. Sadly now though, I was thinking about this the other day. I think I've lived here longer than I had in Montana, which is such a bummer. Yeah, let's see, because I moved here in 2009. It is now 2025. I moved to Whitefish in 96 and left there in 2009. So yeah, I've been here longer than I have been in Montana. I think, if I did the math right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I thought that was a really cool shout out because the meme where it's Leonardo DiCaprio and he's pointing at the screen.
That when he goes like that one.
Yeah, that literally was me when that happened in Outer Range. I was like, Whitefish, I know that place. I lived there.
He's got some great memes, Leonardo.
He does. Whitefish. It is a beautiful spot. It used to be a lot smaller and a lot less known. Now it's a resort town, and a lot of wealthy Californians have moved up there and kind of changed it into something that it's not.
It's near Glacier Park, which is just absolutely stunning.
Oh my God. Glacier Park is, I've been to several national parks, and Glacier Park is, I think, by far the best. Mount Zion, or is it Mount Zion? Zion National Park is also really pretty.
That's Utah, right? I haven't been to any of those ones in Utah. Yeah, I'd love to go to those. The only reason I've seen them because there were some jogging machines I used to use, and you could choose where you can jog, and that was one of them. Like, wow, this is such a cool place.
Yeah. Well, should we get into it? We've done enough girl talk, I think.
All right, you're right. Yes, let's get into it. Let's play the theme music.
Yeah, play our theme music,
and then we can get right into it.
Just woke up and I can't feel my body. The room is dark, the people are shady. Their heads are too big, their bodies too small. They poke me with things that make my skin crawl. Oh my God, I don't think these are people at all. Now I'm running for my life. Need to get back to my kids, back to my life. The little gray men, they point and screech. They must be upset that I'm off the leash. But don't worry, this will never happen to you. Because Adam and Topher will see you all through. Just keep listening to the UAP podcast. And keep your eyes up with your 2 feet moving fast. Just woke up and I can't feel my body. The room is dark, the people are shady. Their heads are too big, their bodies too small. They poke me with things that make my skin crawl. Oh my God, I don't think these are people at all. Now I'm running for my life. Need to get back to my kids, back to my wife. The little gray men, they point and screech, then they must be upset that I'm off the leash. But don't worry, this will never happen to you. Because Adam and Topher will see you all through. Just keep listening to the UAP podcast. And keep your eyes up with your 2 feet moving fast.
Hell yes, that is a fun song.
My goal this week for myself is to write another song. I love. Again, it's the app Suno. They're not paying us, but they should.
No. Yes.
It makes it really easy to make it seem like you're a song maker. And again, I'm not. I have no background in music or anything like that. But I do have background in poetry, which is just music without music.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great foundation to start with. But you did say that you try to make the words, and the syllables do match up rhythmically at least, right?
Yeah, right. So I try and make it rhyme, and I have to count out the syllables to make sure. Because I did notice early on, like you can make words rhyme all you want, but if you got one line that's only a couple syllables and the next one's 15 syllables, it doesn't really match up.
And then you choose the genre, or you can put or a song like Taylor Swift or something like that.
Yeah, you put in a prompt. I think sound like this.
And Chupacabra, that's right. You're following him now. I mean, his stuff. He does it on Sona, the music, and then I don't know what he uses for video AIs, but then he puts videos together with the music, and it's just amazing. He's just blowing up because of that.
I found another really good channel on YouTube, and of course I can't remember what it's called, but they'll write like theme songs for really popular shows like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter, but they'll put it in like the ones that get really popular. He always does like a trailer park in the middle of Louisiana someplace, and it's but it fits all of the characters from those movies, TV shows, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he uses AI video to create these characters in a trailer park setting. It's really fun.
Yeah, I remember we actually played him on the show. And then is that the same guy who does like Lord of the Rings, but like in Berlin, 1980?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's the same one.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty brilliant. Well, today we're gonna do, like we said, the Chicago O'Hare incident. This was in 2006, so not that long ago.
We're getting old, man. This was almost 10 years ago. No, 20 years ago. I'm sorry.
20 years ago. That's right. Not that long ago. It's a classic, actually. Well, but there's not too much evidence, I was saying, because I don't think the FAA has given anything except for the recordings. They've given the recordings, the FAA recordings, and that was probably highly redacted because a lot of what they released was like them joking about it.
Yeah,
from what I see.
And like we were discussing before the show, O'Hare has a lot of really bizarre UFO sightings. In fact, it was just a couple of years ago they were reporting like Mothman was flying around Chicago O'Hare.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot Mothman is one of the most sightings because there's that map we covered too. I don't know how long ago. But yeah, it's a lot of it's centered around the Chicago area, and it's the Great Lakes. Before the show, we spoke. I mean, the 3 Great Lakes are there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the conclusions that you and I have come across is just aliens, UFOs, they love big bodies of water. There's, it seems like every sighting we've talked about usually involves a big body of water. I say that, and I think back to last week, and I don't think there was a big body of water around where Betty and Barney Hill picked up.
Wait, was it New Hampshire? Or no, Maine. I think Maine.
No, it was New Hampshire.
Oh, it was New Hampshire. Good point. Unless there's a huge pond there or something. But a lot of them do originate from or near bodies of water, and it makes sense. I was watching Stan Deo yesterday. He was that inventor who got suspiciously killed. He created the engine that can run off water, but he did more than that too. Like there was videos out there about him. But it's basically, if you have water, you can have abundant electricity, and because it keeps recycling as well, so it's not like the water goes away. Right. So it makes sense if you want breakthrough energy to be close to bodies of water. But yeah, cool. I mean, Chicago is one of the busiest airports in the country, if not the busiest, because it's in the center of the United States. A lot of trade goes through there. It's what made Chicago so rich. So this event it happened in 2006, November 2006. There was an article, the original article that went crazy online or in the media was a Chicago Tribune article from 2007, 2 months after that. And it's behind a paywall. So, but what we do have an interview with the guy who wrote it that we can get through.
Let's dive into it. The Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting occurred on November 7th, 2006, 20 years ago, at approximately 4:15 p.m. at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, Illinois. According to reports, a group of United Airlines employees observed a metallic disc-shaped object hovering in the sky above one of the airport's concourses. The object was estimated to be about 20 to 30 feet in diameter and was described as having a smooth saucer-like shape with a dark metallic color.
So not too big, 20 to 30 feet, right?
Yeah. At the time of the sighting, the object was reportedly hovering at an altitude of approximately 4,000 feet and was visible for approximately 2 to 3 minutes. Witnesses reported seeing a ring of bright white lights surrounding the object, which seemed to be stationary in the sky. Some of the witnesses reported that the object then suddenly shot straight up into the sky and disappeared from sight. Always a good sign. The incident was reported to the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, and officials launched an investigation into the matter. During the investigation, several of the witnesses were interviewed and their accounts of the sighting were recorded. The FAA ultimately concluded that the object was an unidentified flying object, but they were unable to determine its origin or nature.
All right, then it's a balloon.
Hence, unidentified.
Right.
The 2006 Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting generated significant media attention and remains one of the most well-known UFO sightings in recent history. Despite the FAA's conclusion, the incident remains shrouded in mystery and has sparked ongoing debates and discussions among UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Some have suggested that the object was a weather balloon, yay, a military aircraft, or a secret government drone, while others maintain that it was indeed a genuine UFO and that the government is covering up the truth about extraterrestrial life. Well, we know that now for sure.
For sure.
Regardless of the cause, the 2006 O'Hare UFO sighting remains one of the most intriguing and puzzling UFO sightings in recent history.
Man, the weather balloon thing just won't go away. It's been there since the beginning, and it's going to remain there.
Yeah,
I think forever.
And wasn't it J. Allen Hynek that started that? No, he did swamp gas.
Swamp gas, yeah. He still used that as an excuse. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. No, he did meteorological excuses like Venus, what is it, weather inversion or something, or heat inversion? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to keep referencing it, but the Betty and Barney Hill thing was like, oh, they misidentified the planet Jupiter. It's like Jupiter lands on the highway in front of you. What?
Yeah, the archetype Jupiter just comes down here once in a while and takes sperm and eggs.
Hey, can't trust Jupiter these days, man.
Well, wait, the god Jupiter, didn't they say like he had sex, or was that Zeus? He just had sex with whoever he wanted, any human.
I got to study up on my Greek and Roman god lore.
Yeah.
I used to be really interested in that kind of stuff, and then you realize it's not important.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
All right, so eyewitness accounts of O'Hare UFO sighting. The first accounts of the sighting came from the pilots of a United Airlines aircraft, who reported seeing a saucer-shaped object hovering over one of the airport's concourses. The pilots were reportedly stunned by what they saw and quickly notified air traffic control. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, several airport personnel also reported seeing the strange object. Additionally, several other eyewitnesses, including travelers and airport employees, reported seeing the strange object hovering over the airport. Many of these witnesses reported seeing a disc-shaped object with a metallic surface and a brilliant light coming from its center. Some witnesses reported that the object appeared to be hovering in one place, while others claimed that it was moving slowly in a circular motion. Despite the numerous accounts of the sighting, there were also some skeptics who dismissed the reports as hoaxes or misinterpretations of other aircraft or natural phenomena. However, many of the witnesses remained convinced that they saw that what they saw was something truly extraordinary and unexplainable. Who's this dude? The official explanation of Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting.
This is Joe Abeg. I'm a United pilot. He's posting this, it looks like, on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, it's a Facebook thing. Yeah.
He says, I'm a United pilot, and I was at O'Hara a couple days later, and everyone was still talking about it. The employees that I talked to about the sighting accepted it as real.
Joe, I beg your pardon.
Oh, nice. Joe Abeg. That's clever.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess. And that's the thing. I mean, if people are still talking about it, it's not a joke or misinterpretation or misidentification,
Yeah, I mean, it was the real deal. I mean, this clearly freaked out a lot of people, even if it was some sort of government drone, it's still weird enough where, you don't just shake it off and go, just another day at the airport, like this was something so bizarre that it grabbed the attention of so many people.
Yeah, we're definitely not dismissing it could be a government drone.
Yeah,
because by 2006, we had drones out there for sure.
You have to remember this was only 5 years after 9/11.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You have to imagine that the government had ramped up its, technology
and
security. Yeah.
And there is a clip that came out exactly. We see after 9/11, we see everything that's happening in our airspace, right? So something that's at 4,000 feet is not that high up. You'd think there is more evidence out there from satellites, from radar. But yeah, let's continue. Maybe radar picked it up.
Yeah. So the official explanation provided by the Federal Aviation Administration and other authorities for the 2006 Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting was that the object observed was a weather balloon.
Oh, man.
According to the FAA, the weather conditions on the day of the sighting, which included high winds and low clouds, could have easily explained the appearance of the object.
Oh, yeah, straight up into the clouds.
Yeah, that's how weather balloons work.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, high winds definitely go up into space.
They stated that the pilots and other eyewitnesses may have misinterpreted the sighting and that it was not uncommon for weather balloons to be misidentified as other things, particularly in adverse weather conditions. Really sticking to that blue. So it's windy, high winds, right? Low clouds. They're saying a weather balloon came with this high wind, came down, floated above this airport for a few minutes and then zipped right back up into space.
Right.
And they're saying that's normal weather balloon behavior in high wind. Anyway, very, very fun explanation.
It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of people will believe it. That's all they need. Right?
Yep. In addition, the FAA noted that there were no reports of any radar contact with the object, which is typically the case with weather balloons, as they are not equipped with transponders.
You don't need a transponder. Okay.
Furthermore, the FAA also stated there were no reports of any air traffic control disruptions as a result of the sighting, and that all flights continued to operate normally.
Interesting.
Where was the we covered it on the show maybe about a month ago. There was that orb that supposedly was it in Ireland? Orb that came down and landed.
Oh yeah, somewhere in the UK. Yeah, somewhere in the UK, and they took a picture. They snapped a picture of it.
Yeah, that got swept under the rug real quick. No one's talking about that anymore.
No, and there was evidence there, and it stopped air traffic. They had to shut down the airport.
Yeah, it's interesting. I bring that up because it did, in fact, stop, some of the air traffic control stuff that was going on, but this did not for whatever reason. And it's not like ATC in the 2 to 3 minutes of that's going on, they go, "Oh, it's a weather balloon," and dismiss it. In fact, if it was a weather balloon, I still think they would suspend air traffic.
Yeah, because it's in the way and it's dangerous.
Yeah,
right.
So that's a bizarre part of this story. Anyway, however, despite the official explanation, many people remain skeptical of the weather balloon theory and continue to question the authenticity of the FAA's statement. Some believe that the explanation was a cover-up and that the true nature of the object was being concealed from the public. Duh.
Yeah.
These skeptics point to the numerous eyewitness accounts and the fact that the object appeared to remain stationary in the sky for an extended period of time, which is not consistent with the behavior of a weather balloon. Another duh.
I mean, don't say weather inversion. There was some weird weather inversion, which kept the weather balloon in one area.
Yeah.
Right. And his scientific analysis. So we're going to go deep now.
Nice.
One scientific theory that has been proposed is that the object was a weather balloon. This theory suggests that a high-altitude weather balloon may have been in the vicinity of O'Hare Airport on the day of the sighting, and that the witnesses may have mistaken it for a UFO. However, this theory has been met with some skepticism, as many of the witnesses reported that the object was stationary in the sky, which is not consistent with the behavior of weather balloon. Another theory that has been put forward is that the object was a secret military aircraft. This theory suggests that the government may have been testing a new type of stealth aircraft that was designed to be invisible to radar, and that the witnesses may have spotted the aircraft as it was undergoing testing. However,
I really do think this is much, much more likely than a weather balloon.
Yeah, exactly. This makes more sense to me.
I could definitely see the government doing this just to test its capabilities. Like, yeah, why not station it over one of the most trafficked, airports in the world, and see what comes of it. I can totally see the government.
Yeah. It's especially if it's stealth. Let's see if the radar works in this from the airport. If they can see it, if the radars can't see it, but then the people can see it, and the people saw it, and boom, let's get it out of there.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see if people go nuts. Let's see if the airport, shuts down and goes completely dark. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. However, this theory has also been met with some skepticism, as the witnesses reported that the object was stationary in the sky, which is not consistent with behavior of a military aircraft. Well, unless it was a drone. We definitely had...
or a secret military aircraft. I mean, how long was it before the SR-73? Is that what it's called? The Blackbird. I mean, the public didn't know about that for many years after it was officially created. I mean, this could be the same situation.
Yeah, that was in the 60s, right? When they first started testing it. So
yeah, we didn't know about it until the 90s.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, 90s, late mid 90s, or no, early 90s, and we used it. Wait, are you talking about the F-117 or the SR-71? The
SR-71. Sorry, that's the Blackbird. SR-71 Blackbird.
Yep. Okay, so that was developed in the 60s. Yeah, we didn't find out till the 80s about that one. So this was in the news. We're gonna have to listen to the whole thing, but it shows that it was taken seriously. Yes, the news loves this stuff, and they want you to watch them, but still, I mean, there are witnesses that they interview in this news clip here.
At one of the nation's busiest airports, several pilots apparently and United Airlines workers at Chicago's O'Hare swear they saw one, a UFO.
They swear they saw one.
They say it hovered over a terminal without lights before shooting straight up right through the clouds last fall. The FAA still is investigating, but federal officials believe it was just some strange weather phenomenon.
Flights come to Chicago's O'Hare Airport from all over the world, but do they come from other worlds?
You don't believe this was possibly your imagination?
It was definitely not my imagination.
Joe was a mechanic for United Airlines. While taxiing a jumbo jet to the hangar, he and another mechanic
looked out the window in the general direction and noticed an object up in the sky, dark gray object sitting above the terminal complex.
Joe, which is not his real name, is one of several airport workers, some of whom have talked to the Chicago Tribune, who say they saw a saucer-shaped UFO hovering just beneath the clouds at the airport. He's the first to go on camera to talk about it since this happened several weeks ago. He wants to remain anonymous.
But you're sure it was some kind of object that normally would not be above O'Hare Airport?
I've been at O'Hare for quite some time, and let's just say that I've never seen an object in my time there that looked like this. And I'll tell you, definitely, it was not an airplane as we know it.
But it could be an airplane as another world knows it.
Possibly.
We brought in one of Chicago's top sketch artists.
Followed the contours of the object.
To listen to Joe and draw a picture of what he says he saw.
More of like an oval, dark gray oval.
Because no photos have surfaced, and Joe doesn't know of any.
Now, it didn't say Goodyear on it, did it?
No Goodyear, no. That's a really good drawing.
Is that what it looks like?
Very much so, yeah.
Other witnesses told an organization called the National UFO Reporting Center that the object eventually shot straight up in the sky at a great rate of speed.
It looked like literally someone had poked a hole in the clouds. Just a round hole.
Joe thinks the disc is either a stealthy military project or a spacecraft from another planet. But
I find it very strange or very peculiar that somebody who possesses the technology to travel between star systems would sit over an airport in Chicago.
hard to argue that. A spokesperson for United Airlines says, "We are aware of what the employees said they saw, but this is not something United would investigate. Talk to the FAA," says the airline. The TSA and the Chicago Department of Aviation also told us to talk to the FAA. So we did. And an FAA spokesperson told us we too don't have the power to investigate.
Ugh.
The FAA...
It sounds very similar to the New Jersey thing, right? Where the FAA is like, yeah, we don't have the authority to look into that. Ask those guys. Then you go ask those guys. Oh, we don't have the authority to do that.
Eerily similar.
Yeah. And punching a hole through the clouds. It's not a way of going.
Very, very crazy. I don't appreciate the drawing they gave him where it's like, we got an artist to sketch this, and it's just like some random doodle on a, like, I could have drawn that, and I can't draw for shit.
Exactly. He goes, wow, it looks just like that.
Yeah.
Adds that radar did not pick up anything out of the ordinary, and the sighting might have been caused by a weather phenomenon.
And you don't believe it was a weather phenomenon?
Not at all. Not for a minute.
O'Hare has apparently been UFO free since that November afternoon, although Joe now tends to pay special attention to that same patch of airport sky. Gary Tuckman, CNN, Chicago.
Oh yeah, and this is leaked footage. This is actually they interview the guy, the author of the Chicago Tribune article.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's this one here.
Oh, hey, here's John. Hey, John.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Well, fine, thanks. How are you?
Busy with this UFO
stuff. Oh my God! Did you see it hit the Fox crawl Monday night?
Did it? It's just been everywhere. I mean, I've been on CNN. My fourth appearance today.
Really?
Every MSNBC, every network.
Oh my goodness!
And just worldwide. I mean, Australia, everywhere.
That's what we're going to start off. I'm going to say, and John, the response has been, well, out of this world, hasn't it? Congratulations. So. Where's the latest on the investigation, the FAA, then?
Well,
is by this time tomorrow going to prove?
United is now acknowledging that they were approached by employees, so they've done that flip-flop, and I'm trying to locate photos of this. I'm told there may be photos.
Really? Wow, that would be cool.
It looks like this is behind the scenes.
I'm told that the story on CT,
right,
has almost 1 million hits.
Yeah, it's the most read story in the history of CT.com.
You're kidding me.
No, I got an email yesterday from Bill Adee.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, and the entire history of the website.
Oh, incredible.
So,
incredible. So does the possibility exist? You might get the pictures and get them in for tomorrow? Or
oh, no, I don't think, no. I mean, I'm told the pilots on that plane that was being pushed back, I said in the story that they opened the windscreen and stuck their head out. Now I'm being told that one of them had a digital camera and snapped some pictures.
Wow.
So United is not playing ball with me, and FAA, I've expanded my FOIA to include the flight plan, which might include the pilots' names. and I'm trying to work with the union as well.
Are they still going by weather phenomenon?
FAA, pretty much because of the federal holiday, I haven't talked to them that much. But yeah, they haven't changed their story, and I've just heard from other people, since then that that explanation just doesn't wash.
And they haven't gone out of their way to say anything otherwise so far.
No, I mean they say it was November 7th. They're moving on. They're just doing their daily thing.
Well, I tell you what, all the people who saw it must be feeling a little validated right about now, huh?
Oh yeah, and I'm getting tons of emails from other people who outside the airport as well as at O'Hare who also either cited that same object or saw the hole in the sky and said, "What is that?"
Wow. Okay, so what did it look like again to the folks who saw it? It was a saucer-like object
it was
hovering over the United terminal, right?
Yeah, right over directly over gate C-17. It was stationary in the sky, dark gray metallic. Like I say, saucer shaped, no lights, and it was there for some minutes. And then when it disappeared, it just streaked through the clouds with such energy that it broke a big blue hole in the overcast, and the hole remained there for several minutes until the wind drifted and pushed the clouds back together.
So the blue was the sky.
Yeah, the blue was the sky, but otherwise the entire skyline was cloudy.
Totally overcast, huh? Man.
So it's nothing. An airplane just doesn't react like that. It does. It slices through, and it doesn't disturb the atmosphere.
All right, now he interviews him here. 1 second. Yeah, right here. So this is the author.
Nice.
Of the article.
Very weird scene.
Exclusively broke on New Year's Day is.
Like it's weird seeing the behind the scenes with the news.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. He's just fixing his makeup. He's looking at it. That's why he puts the Kleenex on his nose like that. But yeah, I mean, even he's shocked. He's saying that United's not playing ball with him. He's saying the FAA. He's going to try to get flight plans so he can get. He wants to basically talk to the airline pilots that saw this thing and took pictures. And I guess till this day we haven't seen anything as usual. It goes into that hole. So let's see what else he says.
Garnering attention around the world. Joining us now to talk about it once again is Tribune transportation writer John Hilkovich, who broke the story. And John, the response has been, well, out of this world, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been astronomical, Jim. Every major country, it seems, people have written in, both those who claim they've spotted UFOs during their life, as well as serious researchers. I mean, just the last 2 days, this is my email. And these are the serious emails, the ones from kooks who said they were brought aboard alien spacecraft. I put in a circular file. So it's just a story that has legs, and people are fascinated by the thought. And I think there's some belief that there are advanced life forms that are visiting us here on a regular basis.
You've been contacted now in the last few days by several countries, but that also includes serious university researchers here in the U.S. I got to tell you, too, I got a call from my dad in California Monday night. And he's like, what is up with the O'Hare UFO story? I'm like, where did you see that? Where did you read that? Well, it was on Fox Network's Crawl at the bottom. It's just amazing how much this is garnering.
Yeah, it really is. And worldwide attention, as you say. And from people who have made observations themselves, including on November 7th, the date of this incident, additional people both at O'Hare and outside the airport who have either seen this gray disc-shaped metallic object themselves or they saw that huge hole in the sky that the object created when it vanished.
Let's go over that one more time. What did people see when it all of a sudden vanished right through the clouds over the United terminal? And then how's the FAA been reacting the past few days too? Any new ground on that?
Okay. Well, the object was hovering in a stationary position about 1,500 feet above the United terminal for some minutes. And then when it left, it just burst through this thick cloud layer, creating a large open space of blue sky on an otherwise overcast day. It took some minutes for that opening to close up when the clouds drifted back together. And it's just extremely unusual, according to the witnesses. I mean, airplanes just don't react like this. They slice through clouds, and they really don't disturb the atmosphere that much, except for the wingtips and such. The FAA is still, pinning this to some kind of weather phenomenon, that some lights from the airport and the overcast skies somehow got together and created this image. But weather experts, astronomy experts, others that I've talked to said that that's bunk. That explanation just doesn't wash. United, on the other hand, after first denying that they got any reports from employees about this sighting, is now saying, yes, indeed, their employees did approach them immediately because of concerns about safety.
And to reiterate, John, the witnesses who originally came to you are all seasoned, professional, credible professionals like pilots who saw this.
They're pilots, they're senior managers, they're mechanics, and others. So, they are very truthful about what they're saying, and we're trying to locate photographs, if they do exist, of this incident.
Well, John, we know you have plenty of other interviews to do today with other countries, so we'll let you go and we'll keep our eyes to the sky. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.
In a week.
Cool, man. I guess this is him again.
Okay.
So it seems like it's the FAA's job to just always just calm down the population, calm down the herd. That seems to be the job, and not the truth, which sucks.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, unfortunately, the government is still stuck in the old world way of thinking. Of if we tell them that UFOs and aliens are real, they'll panic and start looting and whatever.
Yeah, it's still It's still the policy till this day in 2025.
Yeah,
so crazy, dude.
Which is dumb. I mean, you were talking about predictive programming last week. I mean, how many more movies or TV shows do we have about aliens and alien abductions and alien invasions to realize that people, we're ready for it. Like, we're not going to freak out the second Klaxar steps off his UFO on the White House lawn. Exactly.
And it's like one of the only things the government won't admit to. People are like saying, well, if it comes from the government, I'm not going to believe it, which fine. That's fair. All right.
Yeah, totally.
But they're not. The official government line is that they don't exist. They're all basically phenomenon that can be explained, and the ones we can't explain, we just don't have enough data. That's their official line. But people keep saying, "Well, the government's talking about UFOs." No, it's not. Yeah, you do have ex-government officials coming out, and we shouldn't trust everything they say either. This subject is just so annoying when it comes to that. So here's, what's his name again? Gary, the author of the CT.com article. He did a lot of the legwork, a lot of the research. So here's another interview with him.
Cool.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, the story ran January 1st, 2007, based on a alleged incident that occurred at O'Hare above gate C-17 on November 7th, 2006. Reason there was a several month lag in us reporting it, or even deciding whether to report it at all, was that I had to track down the witnesses of this alleged incident. And what fascinated me was the fact that these were all such credible observers. These were pilots. These were ramp workers and mechanics who were jockeying planes back and forth from the hangar, who all, down to a person, reported the exact same sighting. This metallic gray spear-shaped or disc-shaped object hovering stationary in place about 1,500 feet above gate C-17. And then they all described this departure where it just left suddenly with such velocity and speed that it poked this donut-shaped hole in what was otherwise a very cloud-covered sky that day.
So it's an intriguing story.
Right.
That you reported in the Tribune, and then its new life is what?
Well, its new life is there's a new book by an author named Leslie Kean, and Miss Kean was on the Colbert Report last night, and she brought up the O'Hare sighting, in which Stephen Colbert said he had never heard of it, so he asked, "How do I find that on Google?" And that unleashed the floodgates.
So this morning, did you watch the Colbert Report last night?
I did not.
How did you find out about this?
Well, two ways. One, I got an early morning call from a producer at WGN Radio asking me to come on. And I had just had my first cup of coffee. So I okay, so what's the news here? This is almost a 4-year-old story. And then shortly after that, I received, as I do almost every day, emails from UFO enthusiasts and researchers who were talking about this Colbert Report the previous night. So I quickly got up to speed. Let me repeat that. I quickly got up to speed on what was happening.
So let me ask you, in this event, what is the most credible aspect of this event? I think maybe we're getting into this. Most credible aspect of this, UFO sighting is?
Well, the most credible part is that pilots, numerous pilots, including the two pilots at C-17, opened their windows and peered out the cockpit, and both saw in great detail, what they, perceived to be a UFO. And they said it couldn't have been a light show. It could not have been a weather phenomenon, as the FAA later said it must have been. And I have documentation between United Airlines managers to their bosses saying, we've received reports of this from our employees. What do we do? Some of these employees were brought in, interviewed, even asked to draw sketches of what they saw. So what's equally important is not just that the caliber of these witnesses, but the Tribune's ability to document, for no better word, a cover-up by both United Airlines and the FAA, because when I went to both parties, they flatly said they knew nothing about this, that my call was the first information they received. And in fact, I have correspondence that shows that they clearly were told about it and communicated internally and externally about it.
And so what is is there anything that blows a hole in this thing?
Well, what blows a hole in this theory is that no air traffic controller saw it, that nobody with a camera phone at O'Hare happened to snap a picture of this, and this spaceship, if it was so, is long gone.
So, an alien abduction case, but in the figurative sense, it has abducted your day.
It has abducted my day. I have put aside 2 or 3 other stories, and I'm working on this today.
Crazy. So good. That's great journalistic work by him. He put the legwork in there. He said, well, they're covering up something, and
we don't really have journalists like this today.
No, yeah, too bad, huh? Now
journalism is dead, and it's kind of already being replaced by AI, which sucks, because you can always tell when an article is written by AI, and it's just a shame.
And they're government mouthpieces, right?
Journalism used to mean doing what this guy did, doing the legwork, getting on the ground, researching, interviewing people. And now journalism is just, hey, the government told me to say this, I'm going to say this.
Here's a press release from the FAA, and that's what you're going to cover. That's it. No questions.
No, don't ask any questions.
Yeah. Here are your answers. It's right in these 3 paragraphs.
Yeah. So following this event, local and national media outlets picked up the story, with many reporting on the supposed UFO sighting and the mysterious object seen hovering over the airport. The incident was the subject of numerous news articles, interviews, and television segments, with the media speculating about the cause of the event and the possible presence of extraterrestrial life. Hell yeah, brother.
E.T., baby.
In the days and weeks following the sighting, public interest in the event was high, with many people discussing the incident and speculating about what could have caused the object to hover over the airport. Some people believed that the object was a UFO, while others thought it might have been a military aircraft, a weather balloon, or a mirage. A mirage seen by a vast majority of people. That's
from different angles. Yeah.
That's like when people talk about mass hallucinations.
The exact same hallucination.
Yeah. Despite the lack of concrete evidence to support any one explanation, the 2006 Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting continued to generate interest and speculation for many years. For many people, the event remains one of the most intriguing and mysterious UFO sightings in recent history, with many still searching for answers about what happened that day at O'Hare International Airport. The incident also had a lasting impact on the local community and the airport itself, with many people becoming more aware of the possibility of UFO sightings and the need to be prepared for such events in the future.
Very cool.
Now, I have heard this theory first. I heard it on a comedy podcast, kind of as a joke, but it kind of makes sense to me as why UFOs could potentially be interested in airports. So a UFO, the physical flying objects, they're seeing other aircraft in the sky, right? They see that planes move people like UFOs move aliens, right? And so the UFO might be interested in, what are all the, because again, this kind of ties into if the UFO itself is sentient, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the UFO is trying to communicate with airplanes and figure out,
yeah.
hey, I move entities inside of me. So do you. Let's hang out. I'm interested to know what you're about, airplane.
I get that. Yeah, totally.
And it's kind of a joke, but like honestly, it does make sense to me on a weird level.
Me too. I mean, because they're going to be curious because they're doing the exact same thing. They look different. They don't fly. They fly in a different way, and there's just so much traffic. Chicago is like a really busy airport. So yeah, why wouldn't it? You just come take a look. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then for some reason it goes, whoops, I'm out.
Yeah.
But you know that could have been some reaction from our military. Maybe they saw it. Maybe they started. I don't know. You know what they've been doing this for decades. Maybe they tried downing it with an EMP or something. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And just took off or felt the intent of that. You know, if it is like a sentient AI,
right?
There was some footage, and I don't know if this is fake, but you know, it was posted on YouTube 12 years ago.
Nice.
The annoying part is it has stupid X-Files music in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I think oh God. So I think I skipped over that part. But here, this footage shows it. I don't know if this is real or not. This is the cloud cover here, and this is the map. So let's take a look.
Cool.
Oh God. Okay.
7 Sierra Juliet. Do you have traffic for us at 2 o'clock? 7 Sierra Juliet, 1 o'clock and 10 miles eastbound the city at 29, but that's about all it's out there. Okay. Here's 7 Sierra Juliet. 7 Sierra Juliet, come.
What the heck? Oh.
What is this footage supposed to be from?
This is from Chicago O'Hare Airport. So
no.
Yeah, but what kind of angle is this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's taking the footage? Because this isn't a plane. Because the footage is stationary. There's no tower that's high.
The video. The videos were never released, and yet okay. Dan Aykroyd. Truth is means only what I experienced myself. Just taken by the grays or go here. What the hell? Maybe it is fake. I'm sure everyone's making fun of it. No, they're not making fun of it. 12 years ago though. So wait, what year is that? 2013. Yeah, 2013. So I don't know what this could be. If it's another airplane, no, because it's stationary.
Right.
So it could easily be fake.
I mean, yeah.
Because it's not. Does it disappear? Wait.
Change the color.
So, and I don't know what this is.
Like about 8 or 10 miles plus.
I assumed A was the UFO and E was the airport.
Oh wait, it's gone. Wait, let's go back. When did it go?
8 or 10 miles plus.
Nah. Yeah, no hole in the sky. Unless this is that hole that they were talking about.
Yeah,
and this
maybe.
is recording. And maybe this is recording coming out of there. Wait, when does it show up?
I think it was at the very beginning. Like it was already there.
Oh yeah, so it came out. So what's E?
Well, it's either the airport or, like you said, it's the hole in the sky. Anyway,
traffic for us at 2 o'clock.
Well, it never really took off. This could be fake. Yeah, maybe it is. I'm saying 50-50 now.
Yeah, I mean, the camera angle confuses me.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? A skyscraper, a tower?
Yeah.
If it could be a satellite, but it's not. This is looking to the side, not down.
Right. Man, you know what? It's a weather balloon. That's what took the footage.
Oh, yeah, a blimp.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. 2006. That's when it happened, right? I'm trying to see the time now. UTC
23. Well, that time doesn't make any sense. 23 is 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah, UTC. So that's like Greenwich time. So
geez,
Chicago would be 8 hours. Oh no, that's right. So it happened at 4:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so
someone's going to fake it. They're going to do it well, I think.
So we have some video evidence, whether it's real or not. We'll leave that interpretation up to our listeners and viewers.
Here it is. It says ORD source, ORD center, attack squawk. Should I look up what that means? Attack squawk?
Why not? We're here. Let's do it. Let's go all in.
Attack Squawk ORT.
ATAC Squawk. ATAC, that's, I know what that stands for, but I can't remember. I've seen that acronym before.
Airborne Tactical Advantage Company. Airborne Tactical Advantage Company is a government contractor based in Newport News, Virginia, United States. It operates the Dassault Mirage F1, Mk-58 Hawker Hunter, Israeli, blah, blah, blah. So it makes aircrafts. So are they saying that they sent out an aircraft to look at this thing?
But the video footage doesn't seem like it's coming from an aircraft, unless it's one of those VTOLs that can completely stay still in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Or a blimp, like you said. Maybe that was the weather balloon. Maybe there was a weather balloon there.
That's what I'm saying. The weather balloon is the one that took the footage.
So they were giving us half truths.
Yeah. There was, in fact, a weather balloon up there.
Right. Yeah. So
doing the thing like, we're not lying, technically. We're just being very, not very truthful about what's going on.
Look, what's this thing here? Fast over Bravo Tinkhole. I don't know what the hell.
Those are coordinates.
Okay.
Location, destination, Ord. It's so Ord to see what's going on.
Haha, nice one.
All right, let's move on from this video.
All right.
It's linked in the show notes below. Also, music video at the top right you've got there, threw it on the ground. So good. The Lonely Island is incredible.
Happy birthday to the ground.
Wow. Welcome to the real world, jackass.
Yeah. Oh my god. What do you call him? A poser? A poser shows up.
When they were on SNL, I was absolutely obsessed. I would watch SNL strictly for the Lonely Island.
Sandberg.
I think Andy Samberg. I think that group. They have a newish one out, Sushi Glory Hole. And
is that a new one?
Newish. I think it came out a year or two ago, but it's about these guys are developing an app where you can get sushi from a glory hole anywhere in New York City.
Oh my god, how'd they come up with this shit? That is hilarious.
It might be, I was gonna say it might be worth playing, but then I realized it'll get the episode taken down.
Yeah, especially them. So
sorry, go ahead.
Something happened in Chicago.
Something happened. Yeah.
And if this last footage is real, then that was a weather balloon taking it. If it's fake, we're probably leading into that. But there are no other photos or videos. There's some very grainy ones that are not good at all.
Yeah, and remember 2006. I mean, people had the like flip phones with the camera in it. I think.
Yes. Yeah, and they were terrible.
Yeah, and iPhones obviously weren't a thing quite yet. But people having unlimited access to pictures and videos and the internet, that was not quite a thing yet in 2006.
Like this one, it is absolutely terrible. 16 years ago, so I think it's when it happened. You can hardly see it until the end if you want to take a look at this one.
So this is what camera footage looked like, folks. For those of you who are too young to know, this is what footage looked like when you filmed with your phone back in the day.
It's like worse than a GIF.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All right, so we don't see anything yet. I think at some point before the end of the video,
I was able to zoom in though. This guy must have had a really good.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa!
But still, just absolutely terrible. Just hold it steady, man.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look that overcast.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself. It doesn't look super overcast, and of course, he couldn't get the footage of it zooming up and out.
Exactly, and that's about it, really. It's just news reports. This is the FAA laughing about it. It is pretty funny. They're like cracking up. They're making jokes about it. But of course, that's what they release. Of course, right. The FAA is going to release that to us.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's still a cool case.
Is that really all we've got, man?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cool story. Like I said, O'Hare has a lot of weird sightings and stuff. I highly recommend our listeners go out and do some research for yourself, because they get a lot of weird sightings. And in fact, a lot of airports do, but O'Hare seems to come up a lot in the conversation when it comes to UFOs.
Exactly. And this is not just the only incident. Like you said at the top of the show, especially the Mothman sightings. There's a lot of that goes around that area.
Have we done a deep dive on Mothman?
I don't know. Let me check, because that would be a fun one. Let me check, because I know we've talked about it a few times, but I don't know if we've done a deep dive though.
I mean, I love the Mothman prophecies. I love the book. I love the movie. It's probably all maybe made up, but man, is it good.
I mean, it's Keel. He's an amazing researcher.
It is.
Did he say something that he made up some things or something?
That was
like
the
that?
conclusion that AJ over at the Y Files came up with, because he's talked about it. He goes, it's largely made up, but still, I love the story. I love the myth. I like mythical creatures like that. Like I love Sasquatch and the Chupacabra, Mothman. I mean, West Virginia has some really cool monsters coming out of there. But this Skywatcher, they're going back to Skinwalker Ranch, baby.
Yes, they are, and they came out with this video. So they're bringing the evidence now. So they have classified 9 different UFO shapes and sizes, and they've recorded on video and other sensors on radar, on whatever they have that they're using out there.
As much as we rip on Jeremy Corbell, he did make that great documentary about Skinwalker Ranch. I think it's called Hunt for the Skinwalker. It's really, really good. The book is fantastic as well. Skinwalker Ranch, another topic that I am low-key obsessed with. It is a really, really fun, creepy, really cool story. It involves people that aren't looking for fame.
The family. We'll make our way over there one day.
One day, I'd love to camp out outside. I've heard stories of people who camp out and they see lights and all sorts of stuff.
Wow. I mean, I'll definitely do prayers first and just make sure that's only good entities that come around us, because that one story just terrifies me of that one dude who went in and started meditating, and all of a sudden they heard all this noise.
Charged at him and screamed in his face.
Yes, dude. Yes, and he came out running.
Oh my god! You have to understand the stories.
I have chills now.
Ranch are so good. I mean, you've got orbs, you've got portals opening up. You've got
werewolves or
all walks of life who are seeing things. You've got cameras whose cords are being cut in the middle of the night. They put cameras facing other cameras and saw the cameras get disconnected. I mean, really, really just. Skinwalker Ranch is fantastic, and the
whole cow story too. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
The
couple who lived there, they weren't looking for fame or money. They used fake names when they were talking about this stuff. They had to put locks on all of their pantry doors because the pantry doors were bursting open and things were flying out of their pantries or their cupboards. I mean, Skinwalker Ranch, man, I love it. I love the story. I'm so glad these guys are going back.
Yeah, so and these guys, like we said last week, they are going to prove this thing, is real by the end of this year, and it looks like they're on schedule for that. So here's a video, 2 minutes, about 9 different UFOs that they've classified.
We've broken the UAPs down into 9 classes or types. Some of these classes may be the same UAP under different flight configurations, but at this point, given their behavior, we're confident they don't align with conventional or terrestrial explanations. Each UAP class has different characteristics. Some shimmer, some tumble, some spin. Some look like they're alive and they just fly like a living object in the sky. UAPs are extremely hard to image. What is seen with the naked eye is generally not what is seen under camera. The class 1 often spins, tumbles through the sky. Craft looks like a black body. It appears to flash, pulse multiple times per second. There appears to be some kind of cloud or vapor around it. We've seen class 1s in formations up to 22, 23, flying in different flight formations, different flock formations. The class 2 is the classic Tic Tac. We've seen it in groups of 2 to 3, often flying very erratically. We've seen these a couple years in a row, and usually we see them in groups. The class 3, the blob, a pulsing, vibrating cloud. There's something, maybe perhaps a cylinder kind of in the middle that has a different light like a flame, and then it vibrates and pulses as it moves through space. The class 4 is your orb. We've only seen it in infrared. But the class 4 seems to only come during certain activities in conjunction with perhaps the class 1. We don't have enough data yet to confirm. The class 5 we call the manta ray. It seems to tumble and rotate as it moves through the sky. Class 6 is bright star. That one vibrates very, very fast. It literally looks like a crystal in the sky. The class 7 is a jellyfish. It's probably about 2 meters across. The head is purple and black in color, and then it has tentacles. The class 8 we call the hornet. It looks very similar to the class 7, the jellyfish, except for it's bigger. Whoa. And it's almost like a jellyfish carrying something. And then the Class 9 is the egg. The Class 9 isn't something we have a lot of data on. It's very limited. We have it as Skywatcher during our California event. It's an emerging class, and we have strong evidence that it probably exists, but we don't have data to concisely describe it.
So cool, man. So cool. You're muted, by the way. I don't know if you know that. You might have.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you have private equity coming in and just being transparent with us. I'm just scared that once they really find out, they're gonna go dark too, just like what the government did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh shit, we can't. We need to keep this to ourselves and make money out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope not.
I hope not either. I mean, it's you know, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you let the government interfere, they're going to cover it up. So you hope these private firms don't, you know, do the same thing the government's going to do.
And Jake Barber just seems like such a good dude, and like he's also badass. He doesn't get told what to do, so I hope that he just sticks to his word.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
this one, the crystal in the sky, man, that's like angelic kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it does bring up, you know, every time the people talk about historical UFOs and or seeing angels and stuff, you have to wonder if this is what they were seeing.
Exactly, like Charlemagne or Constantine, you know, with visions that they had.
Yeah, I mean, even oh man, what's the Constantinople? Wasn't that founded because the guy who founded it, he saw crosses in the sky.
Yep, Constantine, exactly. That's how he converted the entire empire to Christianity.
Yeah,
and it became their Holy Roman Empire.
Crazy stuff, man. So crazy.
It is. Yeah. We never actually did the Fatima event. Wasn't that a UFO kind of thing? The one in Portugal that the Vatican hid?
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Look at this one. What the hell is it doing?
Yeah, is this the jellyfish? No. Yeah, it is the jellyfish, right?
It's like the jellyfish.
Hornet.
Yeah, Hornet. They're calling it Hornet. Yeah.
We have covered several jellyfish UFOs.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah.
It is really crazy. Really bizarre, scary footage, quite honestly.
So these things are alive, it looks like. They're
that's definitely one of the theories that has been put forth, is that the UFOs themselves are aliens.
Well, just looking at how our AI is going, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, in 10, 20 years, we'll have aircraft in the sky like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff. And talk about Corbell.
Oh boy.
Him and Knapp just released new video of Tic Tac.
Nice.
Yeah, from the Navy. So
cool.
these is really
more Navy stuff. All right, great.
Of course, everyone's going to say these are grainy footage, but look how the radar, wherever it moves, this is a dot that catches up to it.
Yeah. So this thing must be hauling ass.
Yeah. Because they can't get a lock on it. And here's
crazy
a few
stuff. Yeah, I see it over there.
Whoa.
You know what this video needs is some X-Files music.
Do-do-do-do.
I don't have the same enjoyment without the X-Files music. Yeah, look at that. Certainly, that's Tic Tac.
Yeah, definitely Tic Tac. And I'm sure this is infrared, just the way the footage is. Skywatcher said that too. About someone. Oh, they said the orbs, they can only catch them in infrared.
The orbs are a big part of the Skinwalker Ranch lore. In fact, if you believe the story of the family who lived there as this was going on, the orb killed 2 of his dogs, if I remember correctly. Zapped them.
That's nuts. Why? Because they were barking at them?
Yeah. If I remember the story correctly, he was sitting on his porch with his dogs. He saw the orb. The dogs were freaking out, and he just said, "Oh, screw it." He let the dogs go chase the orb. It went into the trees, and then he heard, and then when he went out there the next day, he just found 2, stains on the ground.
That's really so completely zapped them. Not like,
yeah.
Holy crap! Like they're gonna be a threat to them.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, man. You know me, I'm a dog lover, so hearing that story was really sad, and I'm sure it was sad for the family too. So what's this? What do you have pulled up here?
This is
where the video came from.
Exactly. So of course, Southern California. It's saying again. This was 15th February 2023. So only 2 years ago.
On the USS Jackson.
Yeah, imaging platform was a Star Sapphire multispectral EOIR imaging system.
One of the things that we've talked about multiple times is that there is most likely a UFO base, probably in between San Diego and LA.
Yeah, in the ocean for sure.
There seems to be a lot of UFO activity around there. We have a lot of military activity around there, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Like San Clemente Island, it's used for operations, and in San Diego, it's huge bases as well.
Yeah, we've even got the what's the name of the base? That's maybe
Pendleton.
Yeah,
Camp Pendleton. There's another one. Is that not Four Corners? What is it called? Yeah, there's two big ones. So 4 Tic Tac shaped UAPs observed, 2 tracked and 1 highlighted, and obtained FLIR footage. Craft detected by multiple reconnaissance platforms, including radar. No flight control surfaces or propulsion signatures, as in heat plumes or exhaust, detected. Craft were self-illuminated, and 1 was observed exiting the water directly into flight, exhibiting trans-medium capability. All craft were observed in an apparent coordinated, synchronized, and instantaneous departure, indicative of shared communication. Yeah, something's out there, man, that's just doing whatever it wants. That kind of makes me happy.
What's that?
That there's something out there that's more powerful than the Empire.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not exactly using their powers for good.
No, that's the depressing part. That's the black pill right there. It's like we're still no one's coming to save us, man.
Right, exactly.
No one. And then Trump. Yeah, that's a good leeway. Is from Red Panda Koala. He clipped this from Trump. What did Trump mean by this? I know he says this a lot, but like, here he's taking questions about tariffs, so he's scaring Iran, but of course, this is what he says.
And I think we'll end up making a very good deal for both. But we've been treated so badly for so many years. Again, we allowed that to happen. We've been treated so badly for so many years, but. No, I don't expect that. I think President Xi is one of the very smart people of the world, and I don't think he'd allow that to happen. And we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close. So nobody's going to do that. But I think that if that's what you're referring to, maybe it's not. But just
and I think what does he mean by there? We've been saying it for years. If there is some kind of breakaway group with this technology, they do have technology that we can't even imagine. I just wish we used it for good instead of bullying. I mean, if that really is the case, where you have so much power, why would you bully if you can just, diplomacy and peace and these things? But instead, we're out there not doing that.
I think, I can't speak for Trump or anyone else, but I think probably his point is the diplomacy clearly hasn't worked because he is under the impression we're getting screwed in the trade agreement that is currently in place, right?
Yeah.
And so he thinks bullying is the way to improve our trade agreement.
Okay, that makes sense. And he's just trying a different tactic because nothing else has worked.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we know how China operates. I mean, they steal, they cheat, and they get away with it because no one ostensibly will stand up to them, right? And so he's putting his foot down. And
I mean, they steal our IP,
all the time,
remanufacture, and then resell it to us, and then their courts won't even hear anything about the theft.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that's China's deal, and so Trump is taking that as, okay, if that's what you're going to do, we're going to fight you with tariffs. And my God, if I don't hear the word tariff again, it'll be too soon. This past like month, 2 months, oh my God, tariff.
And the market is just crashing, and then it went up again, or it's going to go up on Monday, I think, because he did pause some tariffs. Yeah. So this back and forth is just giving everyone anxiety, especially with their 401ks and investments they have. But the market always goes back up, always.
Yeah. If there's one thing that this is shown, is that the stock market will always go up. Line always goes up.
Yeah, and these companies are not going anywhere. I mean, even if this empire collapses or whatever, Apple is not going to go, Microsoft is not going to go, Tesla is not going to go, Lockheed Martin, all these companies.
I think the problem is, you're right, all of those aren't going to go, but the smaller companies will go, and so pretty soon there won't be. The only phone that's going to be on the market is an iPhone. The only computer you can get is going to be from Microsoft. I'm just throwing examples out there. I think that's the fear, that, and it is a well-founded fear. We don't want monopolies, running our government or our people, and unfortunately, that's already kind of the case. These big companies kind of control everything.
Yeah, because they artificially create these crashes, bankrupt the small companies, buy them up for pennies on the dollar, right? Yep. And then just integrate them, and then they become even bigger monopolies. So you're right. Yeah, and we don't. It's not a good thing for us to have monopolies in every single industry. They love it, of course. Mm-hmm. No competition. Who is Rockefeller? I think he said, competition is a sin.
Well, he would. He seems like the type.
Yeah. You found this great one on Reddit.
Yeah, this is a long read. Well, we got time. You want to go through it?
Yeah, he basically it's basically about the 2027 thing that everyone's warning about, like Corbell.
Yeah.
And saying that's a psyop.
This was posted in the subreddit Aliens. Here's the title of the post. It was discovered in 1953. Its next closest approach is January 2027. I know what's coming.
Well, good.
So this is a pretty long post. Let's see if we can read it and maybe not bore our listeners.
Let me know if you want to skip ahead or.
Yeah. You ever ask yourself how many probes we've sent out into space versus how many of them had plaques on? Just 4 on Pioneer 10, 11, and Voyagers 1 and 2. The satellites were launched, and immediately after, they decided to upgrade and change their missions and therefore trajectories. The plaques were made by Carl Sagan, whom many suspect had insider knowledge. Yep. The reason for the plaques was a simple ruse, so the satellites wouldn't be interpreted as a hostile military device while it collected intel on the object in question. Then, starting in 1980, both Pioneer craft started to experience the Pioneer anomaly, which wasn't discovered until the 1990s, while Voyagers didn't, because their ISR cones were outside of its area of gravitational influence. You know what? Is there a too long didn't read at the very bottom?
I don't. Yeah, I looked for that here.
It's a really good post. It's really well thought out. I just don't think reading it.
Oh, and it is long.
It's long. It's cool. This guy presents a lot of evidence. But basically, there's an asteroid that's looping around our solar system, and 2027 is when it's supposed to get as close to Earth. Closer to Earth than it ever has before. And if I remember correctly, he thinks it's related to alien technology and aliens entering our stratosphere. Atmosphere.
So he's still saying it's alien. This object is an alien object, one that they caught, because in his post he said it was first detected in the 1800s or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then it's going to come back in 2027. So is he also saying that it changed? Yeah, so he's saying it changed the gravitational thing of Pioneer and Voyager, because obviously when we set them out there, it's by calculations based on what we know is out there, and then something changed their trajectory. So something must have passed by them or affected them that changed their trajectory, and that's what this object is. So does this guy do a TLDR or?
I don't think so. It's too bad. I recommend everyone. I hate pushing people to Reddit. Reddit is one of the worst websites on the planet. But you have to sift through a lot of horse shit to get to the diamonds, and this is definitely a diamond. This guy presents evidence. He's got graphs and charts and everything else, and he presents a really good case for what he's arguing. And even our good old friend Jeremy Corbell makes an appearance in here as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to him, man. He's active. He's passionate.
This is okay. I can read this paragraph really quick.
Okay.
Good old Jeremy Corbell stated in an interview of how the intelligence agency is sending out messages to influencers and podcasters about an object incoming in 2027 to get them to talk about it. He says that it's psyops and that an object approaching Earth at half the speed of light is not approaching Earth. I don't know where he got the velocity part from. I think he's looking at this wrong, or how do I say I am looking at this differently than him? I believe that there are people or factions on the liminal edge of this whole project group within the intelligence community and the military who've come across this rumor within their circles and are using this type of disclosure to ping and prong the real knowledge holder to release their cards and tell them what's really going on because they themselves don't know what's coming or from where or what to do. Who does know what to do? Well, hopefully now you have answers.
Oh, that's what I guess he answered the question up here of what this thing could be.
Yeah.
More coincidences. This is I don't know what the hell. Oh, here's that.
Since the start of the 6.5 yearly average cycles in the 1860s, it has continued to pass Earth till this day, with its last pass around mid 2020 and its next one around January 2027.
That's scary.
How this is a very close approximation as DP4721, that's the name of the asteroid, I believe has done course corrections involving accelerations and decelerations. It's interesting that their flybys seem to match nearly equal with the peaks of solar max and solar min cycles from the sun. This, I believe, has a dual purpose of obscuring itself and masking its nearby effect on the sun, while subtly changing and charging the Earth from the inside. Its flybys also correlate with the recorded North Pole wandering that's been observed since the 1900s, either on the same year of flyby or 1 or 2 years in range. I said previously that DP4721 was possibly responsible for the Carrington event of 1859. That's a fun one. We could do a whole episode about that. Well, I believe the Carrington event was a sort of recalibration of their system and a sort of harmonic handshake with the Earth in order to know its geomagnetic frequencies and adjust them to every time it passes. I believe every time it passes, it's slowly charging the Earth like a tuning fork, causing the changes we've been observing with the core spinning weirdly and other anomalies. I think it'll cascade into an Atlantis-style cataclysm with floods and plate dislocation, either that or very powerful earthquakes and tsunamis. The whole time everyone thinking it's the sun doing the cataclysm, and it's this thing.
You're kidding me. So he has, here it is. It's this thing right here.
Yep. That's Luke makes. Very scary but cool stuff you can find online. This guy clearly has done a lot of legwork, like an old school journalist.
Look at that. Yeah, he actually graphed it with the solar minimums, the solar activity, going back to the early 1920s.
And he's got it charted out when the asteroid shows up. I mean, cool stuff. So keep your pants on, everyone. 2027.
Great.
Yeah, we'll find out if this is real or not. So
hey, at least the neocons are in charge when it happens. They'll just say it's Jesus or something.
It's not a bad time. We gave you the heads up, listeners. So go ahead and start prepping. Get your go bag ready. Buy some canned food. Get some MREs. Buy a gun. I actually was going to go gun shopping this weekend, and I didn't end up doing that.
Oh, come on, man! If you're going to do it, tell me.
Yeah, I was going to say
I want to go.
When I decide I'm going to go, I'm going to give you a call and figure out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it together, and then we'll do the training and all that. I think it's important to have. Plus, it's our right.
Plus, well, and here's the thing: I wasn't sure if because and I've talked about it on the show. I have a DUI under my belt, and I'm not sure if I can buy a gun. But I did some research, and it seems like as long as it's not a felony DUI,
right,
I can buy a gun. And my DUI was not a felony.
Right. No, you're fine. I think
be nice to cops when you get arrested, people. It'll do you a solid. If you're nice to the cop, if you're just like, I screwed up, arrest me. I'm not going to fight you. They're going to be really cool about it. Trust me.
Exactly. They love it because I
know from experience.
Most people lie. Most people, run away. or resist arrest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're guilty,
what do you mean I can't drive here? This is America. I could drive. Don't do that.
Yeah. Plus, it might be fatal if you want to just do that. So,
yeah,
just be respectful.
And also, just, you know what? Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to not get arrested for a DUI if you don't drink and drive.
Exactly. There's Ubers out there, and what's the other one called? Lyft.
Lyft.
If anyone uses it. So Georgiani, I love his books, Closer Encounters, and he just did a really long interview with Danny Jones' podcast, which is he's great, Danny.
Yeah.
I always thought he's CIA. I don't think he is anymore. But I like his questioning. He has an open mind. He's still very critical about the UFO thing. But I thought this clip he's got great clips. But this one about the astronauts being scared off by UFOs on the moon. And this is a great clip here. And basically, he's trying to say that's why they were so depressed during their first. It looked like they were held hostage.
The interview that came from their back.
Yeah, the press conference. They're all depressed.
Yeah, I remember I had never seen that or known about it, and then I watched the Y Files where AJ talked about it. He goes, "Does this really look like people who, who just did something the first humans have ever done?" And they're just like, yeah,
be like high, like just like woo, yes, we did it.
They were just like they did. You're right though. They looked like they were being held hostage and asked to answer questions.
Yeah. So here, Georgiani talks about his research into what happened there.
When you ask them, they've done interviews with these astronauts, and when you ask them, so what did you do on such and such a day? They basically rehearse a mission log. We did this, and then we. No. I mean, how did you feel like when you were standing on the edge of that? And then they freeze up. They start to look ill. And so, like you're saying in that press conference, right? They don't look like national heroes coming back from having been the first men on the moon.
Like hostages.
They look like they've had the shit scared out of them or, yeah. So I think that these people saw some terrifying things up there. And that's also what Soviet intelligence thought. In Timothy Good's book, Above Top Secret, British UFO researcher, was close to Admiral Norton, Admiral Lord Hill Norton, British Navy, was one of the people who endorsed his Timothy Good's work.
Mm-hmm.
And in his book Above Top Secret, Timothy Good recounts a meeting between British intelligence and Soviet intelligence back during the Cold War. And the Soviets said, we were listening to the medical channel during Apollo. They had a channel that they would use to report back like medical emergencies, things they didn't want the public to hear. A separate channel from the one that was being broadcast across television. And, unsurprisingly, the KGB had found access to this.
They weren't supposed to have access.
Even our ham radio operators were listening to this in America. Some ham radio operators said that they were able to pick up on this too. So the Soviets said, we heard Armstrong and Apollo 11 say, these babies are huge. They're huge. They're warning us off. They're on the edge of the crater. And there's this whole conversation on the medical channel about how the Apollo 11 astronauts were effectively assaulted and scared off by huge spacecraft on the moon, which were not there to greet them. They got the sense that they were there to say, get the hell out of here. So, people have all these.
Who was the person that said this? And this was somebody.
It was a conversation between a British intelligence officer. You can find it in Timothy Good's book, Above Top Secret.
Above Top Secret, okay.
Yeah. And it was a British intelligence operative who toward the end of the Cold War was meeting with a Soviet counterpart.
Okay.
And the Soviets said, we have the record of this conversation between Armstrong and ground control on the medical channel. Where they were saying they saw now that would scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Moreover, by 69, 70, they had already done this MK Ultra stuff.
Yes.
Right.
So you think they wiped their memory somehow?
Yes, exactly. We had already done this MK Ultra stuff. And I think these poor guys were MK Ultra'd when they came back to try to get them to forget as much of what happened on the moon as possible. And that would also explain why they all wound up with dysfunctional lives. These guys all became alcoholics.
Right.
Their wives divorced them all. Their personal lives became a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting take. I mean, Giorgiani's got some crazy theories, right? I mean, he thinks the UFO phenomenon are basically time traveling Nordics. He thinks they're like Nazis.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that they actually, and it comes from this timeline from Germany, basically 40s, and that they went to Mars, and he's saying they went time traveling to Mars, right, hundreds of millions of years ago. Yeah, and then basically just developed over there and evolved over there. But then something came and then destroyed that civilization, which is the nuke.
Mm-hmm.
The nuclear, whatever evidence that they found from millions of years ago, and that they came here, and Earth was not hospitable to like humans back then, right? There was dinosaurs and volcanoes and all that stuff.
So they had to throw an asteroid at it and kill all the dinosaurs.
They killed the dinosaurs, but then they put the moon there. So the moon is there that's why we have the seasons, and that's why now it's more hospitable to humans, and that they're on the back of the moon. And that's what Giorgiani thinks.
That's
like, woo!
Yeah, I mean that's pretty out there. I mean, you think if the Nazis were time traveling, you think they would have won.
Exactly. I would say
some would argue
he loves and protects Israel, by the way. So if anyone's going to be a time traveling whatever, I'm going to say it's Zionists and not Nordics, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna follow up with a comment, but I will leave it at that.
Well, he's also an atheist. So I don't know why then he would support that. How Nazis created the U.S. deep state. See, that's what he's saying. He's saying that with Operation Paperclip, they came here and they basically entered our military industrial complex and the intelligence community and created the deep state.
That's what I was going to say just a moment ago. I was going to say some might say the Nazis did not, in fact, lose. They just changed their strategy and infiltrated world governments, or governments across the world, I should say.
Yeah, and then after this, actually, we have what you found also. But here's Atlantis in Antarctica is a good clip as well.
Oh, nice.
Talking about the Germans, because we've talked about that.
Yeah,
twice.
we did a whole episode about Antarctica.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll link it when we upload this episode.
Hell yeah.
So he's talking about the evidence there.
Say it was in what's now the Atlantic. You know, people get this ass backwards. The Atlantic is named after Atlantis. It's named after Atlas, not the other way around. It's not like Atlantis had to be in the Atlantic because it's the Atlantic. So people named, in other words, the Atlantic because they imagined Atlantis had been there. Okay, named after the Titan Atlas.
Right.
So, but what Plato says is outside the Pillars of Hercules, outside the Strait of Gibraltar, in the world ocean. Well, what's the world ocean? There is one. There's a world ocean. It's where the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Indian Ocean all meet in a single body of water in the shoreline of Antarctica.
How would they get into a war with Athens all the way down there?
They had conquered and were controlling the entire planet. So the Greeks think they're all so important. Like Atlantis came here and fucked with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Atlantis fucked with everybody. Okay, it was a global civilization. It's a civilization that used those 1,300 ton stones at Baalbek. A global technical civilization. So, first of all, the only landmass that fits the size is Antarctica. Second, it's in the right place. It's in the world ocean. Third, Plato said that when you go to Atlantis, you can come from one side of the world, like South Africa, and cross over Atlantis and you're on the other side of the world. Where else fits that bill than Antarctica?
Right.
Where you go across Antarctica and you can go from South Africa to South America.
Yeah.
Okay. Moreover, if you look at the research of Charles Hapgood, who was actually he was a historian, but he started to develop interesting geophysical theories, and he worked on contract for the CIA for a while. He was a history professor, but he had classified clearances and he worked with the CIA. And he developed this theory of Earth crustal slippage, that when you look at the flash frozen mammoths in Siberia who are frozen with the food undigested in their stomachs.
Yes.
And certain other things, it looks like the crust of the Earth slipped by several thousand miles suddenly. And this is why we have stories from various tribes who say that the stars fell.
Like the idea of this is called, what is it? It's called like a geomagnetic pole flip or something like that.
Earth crustal slippage is this technical term for this particular theory. Earth crustal slippage, Charles Hapgood. And if that theory is correct, and that's how the mammoths were flash frozen in Siberia, and the food that we found undigested, frozen in their stomachs, is food of a temperate climate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it means that Siberia used to have a temperate climate. It was suddenly pulled toward the polar region, the North Polar region.
Where the Earth's outer shell can move as a whole over the mantle.
Exactly.
All right, wait, where's the Nazi stuff?
Gesellschaft. The Thule is a German equivalent of Atlantis. Ultima Thule.
Mm-hmm.
It's a landmass at the north of the world. A vast landmass at the north of the world. Now, we don't have any landmass at the north of the world. But what is the north of the world? The magnetic poles shift like every, I forget what it is, 23,000 years or something like that.
No, it's slipping like literally. What is it? We talked about it on that Jimmy Corsetti podcast.
It's migrating right now.
It's migrating like miles per year.
Which means a reversal is about to happen again. Okay? So when the Germanic people preserved this ancient myth that there was this Ultima Thule, a huge continent at the north of the world, it's probably dating from a time when the poles were reversed. Antarctica was the northern polar, region, and vice versa, magnetically. So the Nazis were obsessed with finding Thule or Atlantis.
Yeah.
And they may have hit jackpot circa 1938.
But then wouldn't there be some sort of evidence of it if the Nazis were there back then? Like, wouldn't some of the stuff, would they find pyramids? What did they find there?
Well, there's evidence the Nazis were there. I mean, look up Operation High Jump.
Right.
1946, Admiral Byrd went down there with a whole fleet. And they were supposed to be on an expedition that lasted months. And they ran into something that devastated the fleet. And they retreated very quickly. And on his way back to, United States, they stopped at some port in Chile, I think. And Byrd made this bizarre statement about how we have to prepare in the next World War to encounter aircraft that can cross from pole to pole with amazing speed. And so it looks like they went down there maybe because they knew the Nazis were down there, tried to clear them out or something, and they had the shit beaten out of them. 46.
What?
Yeah, and there's evidence now. I mean, we covered it too, that the Nazis did have a base. New Schwabenland, right, is called. And then you found this, that the CIA did reveal that, I mean, if you are going to go somewhere that's near Antarctica, it's going to be South America, right? Like Chile, Argentina. Argentina's really close as well. So this was a declassified CIA file. Reveals a decade-long manhunt for Adolf Hitler in South America, even after the world believed he was dead.
Despite official claims that he committed suicide, CIA agents followed leads suggesting he had survived. A 1955 report includes a stolen SS photo that allegedly shows Hitler living under the name Adolf Schrittelmayer and relaxing with a friend on a beach in Colombia before reportedly leaving for Argentina. Argentina is now preparing to release government files on Nazi fugitives who escaped there after World War II, although they have made no mention of Hitler.
Oh.
Still, though, the fact that our government and the Israeli government, too, they were Nazi hunters after World War II. They were looking for these people who had escaped to South America. And it's interesting that even Hitler, was on the list of people they were looking for, even though he supposedly was dead.
Right. Crazy stuff, man. We're still talking about the Nazis.
Yeah, well, they're alive and well, apparently, especially if you believe everything you read on Twitter.
Yes, neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, what do we have? Oh, yeah. About Harold Malmgren. So we've talked about him a few times. Actually, we covered some of his posts when he was alive. Harold Malmgren. We lost him a couple months ago. He was read in. He worked He worked very closely with the JFK administration. He was on the day-to-day operations with the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then so they wanted to use him on other projects. So they read him in because of a nuclear space test we did, apparently by accident. Sure, I don't think it was by accident, but by accident knocked down a UFO.
Right.
So here's Ross talking about that incident. And apparently Jesse Michaels, I don't know how to say his last name, but he did an interview with Malmgren before he died. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that one to come out.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
He's connected, dude. He probably just calls up Peter Thiel and says, "I want an interview with this guy."
Yeah.
Jesse Michaels has done an exclusive interview with Harold Malmgren before he died, and Harold was, as you know, a JFK staffer, and his daughter Pippa is a very good friend of mine. Pippa's an extraordinarily well-informed economist, and her father, Harold, was one of the key junior staffers in the JFK White House. And Harold, before he died, passed on to me through Pippa the information that he was briefed by Richard Bissell, who was one of, I think, the deputy directors of operations for the CIA in the 1960s. He was briefed into the Legacy program. And the reason why he was briefed into the Legacy program was because of an accidental downing of an alien spacecraft during the Kennedy administration, during the testing of a thermonuclear device called Bluegill, in the Pacific during, I think, the 1960s. And the allegation is that JFK was apprised of this accidental downing of an alien spacecraft, that he may in fact have gone to a briefing where he was fully briefed about it. And indeed, some of the documents that have been obtained by an Australian friend of mine, Jeff Cruikshank, who's a former intelligence operative who has taken a close interest in this matter, would suggest very strongly that there might in fact be a UFO link with the JFK assassination. And that's what Jesse Michaels explores with Harold Malmgren in an interview that I'm hoping will come out fairly soon. God bless him, Harold died in February, and literally within days of his interview with Jesse, it was an act of raw courage for him in his declining days to agree to speak to Jesse. And I'm very, very excited to see what he comes up with. And I really do commend to everyone to take a really close interest in what I think will be a major interview.
You gotta love when these guys near death, some of these guys that get near death and just say, "All right, I'm gonna spill the beans." I mean, I remember he was on X saying basically, well, since everyone now is talking about these, I'm just gonna say what I know. And yeah, it's the stuff he was saying was just insane.
There are quite a few people who do deathbed confessions. They completely make stuff up. Who was the guy? I think it was in the 70s who he hijacked that. He didn't hijack the plane. He robbed the passengers on the plane and then jumped out the back.
Oh, DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. There's been like 10 people that on their deathbed have said they're DB Cooper. So deathbed confessions are not always 100% factual.
Yeah, true. Yes. But Malmgren was really high up there.
Yeah,
very
for
respected individual. So for him to come out is definitely impressive. And we have the footage right in the National Archives of that UFO falling down. I think we covered it last week. We showed it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Image. So and this out of Finland. Yeah, I wouldn't
cool.
call it. We would call it an orb.
We were talking about Nordic countries last week and how they do have a lot of UFO activity.
Yeah, since the beginnings, if you go back to the earlier UFO files, there was Norway who was talking about flying missiles. Oh yeah, that's what this looks like in a way, because they didn't know how to describe what these things were. Yeah, they would say illuminated flying missiles, and the U.S. even went there to investigate. So this is some crazy footage. It's from 2022. All right, so look at that thing. Is it blinking? Whoa.
Yeah. It's clearly a weather balloon.
Yeah, it's an FAA drone.
Yeah,
clearly authorized.
So the night sky, this thing flies down. It's blinking. Looks like it's flying towards the camera, kind of checking things out. Looks like it's scanning, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely moving erratically. There it is.
Off.
It's leaving some kind of trail. Is that a camera artifact?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it looks like it's leaving some sort of trail behind it.
And it's not red yet, maybe because it's far.
I mean, the way that it's turning and looping, this doesn't seem like drone technology because it's not. It's curving. It's not going like zzz, 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 zzz.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It is curving, and then it goes far away. Oh, is it gone? I mean, when it's that far, it looks like a star.
Now it's coming back. Now it's just messing with the camera.
It probably sees the camera. It's like,
oh, blinked out. Now it's back.
It's probably going to play some games now. And it gets really close, and that's, here it is.
Yeah.
Definitely doing some scanning, looking for something. Maybe he wants an elk. Or wait, what did they have in Finland?
What are these things with giant antlers? I want it.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, looping around. God, what is that?
Oh, look at the light on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
The ground. Yeah.
Hey, get out of the way.
Wow.
Whoa.
And it's the whole thing's lit up. It's not like there's lights on it. Like the whole thing is glowing.
Exactly. And man, that is not a drone.
No.
Maybe drone-like. But it's big. I mean, those are trees over there. Look at that's crazy, the floor.
The way it lights up the ground. Yeah. Very cool footage. And it goes into the trees.
Oh, man.
See you later. Need to go find that elk. Looking for Santa Claus.
I'm looking for Santa Claus, exactly. Wait, what does he ride?
Reindeer.
Reindeer, there we go.
Looking for a reindeer with a red nose.
That's why it's got its red light on.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very cool footage. Yeah.
All right, so we have also I'm surprised Daily Mail is covering this. There was I think Tucker interviewed the mom of this guy.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so this guy, as in big tech whistleblower Sukir Balaji, was shot twice in the head in suicide as parents make bombshell claims.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the meme. The guy committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice, which of course makes no goddamn sense.
It's crazy how the coroner would just do that. You know why?
Because
you know Sam Altman.
When when the government comes and says, "Hey, you rule this a suicide," or "You're about to commit suicide," you just do what the government tells you, I guess.
Yeah, and he was gonna blow the whistle on ChatGPT or OpenAI. I think he was saying that the information is not accurate. I forget what other stuff, but he was also starting his own company, which they probably didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not an American. He's I think H-1B visa.
Yeah.
So that could be part of the retaliation against him as well. Like, who are you? We gave you all this information, this job. Now you're going to start your own company. I mean, who knows what the reason is?
Well, I mean, how often it seems whistleblower, it's a dangerous title to have. You will commit suicide by being pushed out of a, 8th story window. Like the guy who was the whistleblower against Boeing and all of their terrible practices, he was also killed. I mean, it's insane that we as a society let these big corporations get away with this.
It is insane. I mean, obviously there was a struggle there. I mean, all right, what did he shoot himself in the head by accident and then try to run to the bathroom, and that's where all the blood's coming from?
Yeah,
I think that's hair there too.
Ugh,
dude.
We probably should give a warning before showing these photos on the stream. If anyone's scared of blood, don't look at this part.
The bone stopped it and did not cause any damage. Likely, perhaps it traveled through the air passage to the mouth to the back of the throat without causing problems.
Oh man, that's the way to go.
Yeah, he was definitely in a struggle here. Someone was trying to do something.
Yeah, this is a big part. I believe Romaru.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I think that's the mom.
Also
claimed that Balaji had a broken cheekbone along with previously claimed injury to the side of his head, both of which were not listed on the medical examiner's report. So they're leaving stuff out.
What is up with this country, dude? What is happening? I mean, Sam Altman is rich and powerful.
Yeah. Well, and it's beyond frustrating because AI is not there yet. Like the new thing with Google, you type something into Google, and the first thing that pops up is the AI answer, and the AI answer is often very wrong.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It does, and that's what this guy was basically saying, that it does make up a lot of stuff, and that would have killed, I guess, the company if that information came out, because no one would, everyone would be really careful about using it.
Oh. The first shot was stopped by the bone in the back of his throat. My
yeah,
God.
and you're not going to shoot at this angle. Who the hell shoots at that angle?
Right. That's not a suicide angle. That's you got put on your knees and you're getting executed angle.
Exactly. Look at that, right in the middle of the forehead. Yeah, the path of the bullet that went through Balaji's forehead at an odd downward angle missed his brain and lodged in his neck.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh, yeah, it completely missed his brain. And the autopsy report is not counted for the wounds. Why doesn't the autopsy report include metal object in the skull that was not removed? I mean, poor parents. Good for her that she's still fighting for her son.
Yeah. I mean, God, what a terrible thing to happen to your son.
Is that a high? 0.178?
When I was arrested, mine was double that.
Okay, so it's kind of high.
Yeah.
All right. So they could have gone drunk, I guess. I don't know how it.
I think that's just a night of solid drinking. I don't think that's like blackout,
right?
Like crazy drunk.
Right. If 0.08 is basically 2 drinks in an hour, so double that would be 0.16. So you're talking about 4 drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, nicely buzzed, but not blackout, just like you said.
Right.
Yeah, I would. She does a great interview with Tucker also.
There's clearly some questions that we need answers to for this case. It was obviously not a suicide, and it's kind of insulting that that's the official stance.
Oh, here's his final moments. Entering, he looks like he's hungry. Doesn't look drunk.
So he got some food, got in an elevator, went upstairs, and shot himself twice in the head.
Yeah, seriously. Screw this food, man.
Man, that burger was not good. I guess I'm going to kill myself. Yeah, I just don't see it.
There, this is his space too. So there, he ate the food.
Well, he didn't finish. Looks like
there's his drink right there. Looks like he was working.
Yeah, is that ibuprofen?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't think someone who's about to shoot themselves in the head is going to be about a headache.
Oh, I missed. My head's killing me. I need some ibuprofen. All right, it's not funny.
It's not funny. I mean, it's just what we're joking because there's no evidence to support that this was in fact a suicide. In fact, everything points to the fact that this was a murder.
Yeah, and again, apparently the coroner or the mayor knows Sam Altman very well.
Weird. It's weird how that works.
I know, right? Like one phone call, like, dude, you need to just like mafiosos, you need to clean this up.
Yeah.
Sad.
Very sad.
I think the truth is coming out. However, it might be illegal to talk about Sam Altman since he's part of a protected class these days.
Well, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, and just because he's part of that protected class, we can't talk about him doing anything because then we are anti-Semitic and racist. And
they'll kick us out of the country apparently.
Yeah, or put us in re-education camps.
Oh boy, that's not Nazi-esque at all.
No, it's not. So
I feel like Israel learned all of the worst lessons from the Holocaust. You know what I mean? They're like, man, this is terrible. I can't believe this happened to us. Let's do the exact same thing to whoever we're oppressing next.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They don't want to be bullied around anymore because they were bullied around so much, so they want to do the bullying. But I mean, come on, at least respect the ideals of this country and it's just it's having the opposite effect. And I don't know if it's on purpose. Maybe it is on purpose. Maybe they want that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bizarre. It's bizarre behavior.
I was just reading an article this morning. It was showing that support for Israel is like down across every demographic you can imagine.
Except boomers.
No, even boomers, it's gone down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally. I wish I had this chart handy. I'd send it to you. It shows every age group, race, political leanings, everyone. The support of Israel.
Yeah, I think I think I know which one you're talking about. Support for Israel down, and it's down a lot. I mean, and that's just in a couple of years,
right?
Right. Come on, it should be one of the first ones that show up. It shows Democrats, Republicans, the different age groups as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's here it is. 1 second. Is it this
Yeah,
one?
This is the one I was looking at.
Negative views of Israel have risen in the U.S. So U.S. adults, this is just 3 years, from 42% to 53%. So Republican leaning age group. So if you're age group of 18 to 49, it went from 35 to 50%. 50 plus went from 19 to 20. All right, a slight one.
One. It did go up.
They're the only demographics that support them.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Democrats. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a big jump for Democrats.
No wonder why they went to Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so, I mean, it just goes to show that what they're doing, what Zionism is doing to that country is making everyone not like them as much.
And it's because of this. Why are you messing with the First Amendment and people and Americans' right to free speech? Why are you messing with that? Like, why? That is like the dumbest thing to do.
It really is. I mean, this country is founded on free speech, and the fact that we're now cracking back on that is just, it's criminal, quite literally criminal. It's unconstitutional.
Completely. And now they're saying they're doing it to non-citizens, but they can easily switch it over to.
So here's the tweet. DHS to begin denying citizenship to people if they do not support Israel. Supporting Judaism and Israel are now requirements to become a U.S. citizen and get a green card in our country. Hating white people and Christians will not affect your immigration status. Now, here I'm gonna pull up my phone really quick. All right, go to Google Maps. Okay, it's loading Google Maps. All right, it says I'm in California. I'm gonna zoom out just a little. Zoom out. This is weird. On Google Maps it says we're in the United States of America.
Right.
And then hold on, let me scroll over, and Israel, that's over that's a different place completely, right?
That's a different, I think it's in a different continent too.
Let me double check. I'm gonna scroll back over. No, this says the United States of America. That's where we are. But now hold on. So Israel, that's not where we are right here, right? Yeah, no, hold on. Let me swipe over. See, Israel is over. That's not in the United States. I can confirm that.
You sure though, right?
Well, let me scroll back. All right. United States of America. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, California. I'm gonna zoom out again. United States of America. That's crazy. Now these laws, if I criticized South Africa, can I still get a U.S. citizenship?
Oh yeah. Hell, you can criticize the United States of America.
Now, if I criticize Australia, can I still get a U.S. citizenship?
Oh yeah, they don't give
a
crap.
If I criticize Israel, and I just want to confirm again, I'm sorry, I have to double check my work. That's over here. That's not in the United States. So why can I not criticize that country, but I can criticize any other country if I want to become a citizen?
I don't know. I think even talking about the reason, about the reason is illegal. You can't.
That's
so you can't even weird. You can't even notice.
Oh, can't notice things.
Look how many things, executive orders he signed, this guy Trump. Combating anti-Semitism, additional measures to combat anti-Semitism, and protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. All right, the third one makes great sense. Of course we want. But then they link that to Israel. So basically, which is scary, because if they're linking criticism of Israel to terrorism, you know how scary that is, because they can just label you as a terrorist and that's it.
Exactly.
Under the Patriot Act and like the NDAA, they can take away your citizenship if you are. Like, it's really scary, and this has to be fought. I mean, if Biden tried this, the right would have been up in arms. Seriously, I think
100%. Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah, and there would have been lawsuits, but just because it's Trump means that is it okay? It's not. I mean, but this would this survive courts like the Supreme Court? There's no way. It is protected speech. It's speech.
It's that whole thing. Like, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I respect your right to say it.
Right, exactly. Like, who cares? Ignore those people. Like, it's just speech. It's not. If someone becomes violent and really like does illegal activity because of that or because of an ideology, then yes, that is a crime and you can go after me. You don't need more laws on the book. We have those laws. But someone just writing something that's critical of a foreign country, it's not terrorist activity.
No, it's not.
That is thought control. That is like, it's like it's like 1984 kind of type of stuff.
I know, right?
Well, hopefully we fight it, and
well,
after that,
and hopefully we'll still be allowed to podcast after these laws become real.
Yeah, he put a Chabad Lubavitch rabbi in charge of he's the anti-Semitism czar now, so he's going to go after social media accounts to combat anti-Semitism. So
this is partially the reason we use fake names for this show.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We knew it was coming. Yeah. Governments are nuts, especially this one, because it's so powerful. You never know who's going to be in charge and what they're going to use it for.
Right.
It's crazy that the guy who the government went after so many times and tried to put in jail is now doing this in another way. So they're still woke. They're no different from the left. It's just focused now on Israel instead of LGBTQ. That's it.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin. I mean, I think we we hoped this wasn't coming, but we kind of saw. We kept saying, the left keeps, censoring people they don't like, and we go, as much as you do this, it's just going to be the right side that uses it, as soon as they win. And of course, here we are.
Yeah, and it really sets a dangerous precedent. Like, there's a lot of people who are, fans of Trump, who are okay with this. Like, you see them defending, like, you guys, what are you doing? Like, you have no idea. If you start this shit, when the left comes in, they're going to do it too. They'll use the same tools this guy used.
Exactly.
So ridiculous, man.
It is.
Why can't we just listen to the Constitution and just, limit government
overreach? But the Constitution was written 500 years ago, man. It's out of date. Little, if we actually followed the Constitution correctly, none of this would be an issue.
None of it. Yeah, because it's put there to keep government away. That's what it's there for. It's not for us. It's for the government. Things that limits government.
Right.
Right. Overreach. Anyway, all we can do is just raise awareness of this, and hopefully, if there's enough pushback that they'll stop this. Although Trump does listen to the people, except when it comes to this issue. He's just the worst when it comes to this issue.
Well, it's just like we talked about last week. Why do they have to put on the hat and kiss the wall?
Yeah, you can't talk about that.
Can't talk about it.
You can't. Notice it privately. Yeah. Maybe that'll be illegal soon too.
Oh, yeah, it'll be illegal to notice things. I know, right? That's seriously where we're headed.
Oh man! All right, so before the show, you told me you found this new account.
So I've been going down the YouTube rabbit hole lately, and I've been keep coming across these clips. This guy, I'm assuming he's a first responder or a fireman or something, and he reenacts the various situations he's been in while working, and they're very, very funny. And he clearly comes across some just insane people, but this account has just a ton of these videos, and they're all really funny.
Dude, hilarious. All right, so what's this one called? Real things I've seen as a paramedic. I still don't understand why someone would do this. All right, let's listen.
Sir, please stop rubbing your eyes. You're just going to make the pepper spray burn worse. Why isn't the milk working, man? I poured like half a gallon on my face. Stop complaining, man. At least you didn't pee all over yourself when you got blasted in the leg with a taser. What would possess you two to test out pepper spray and a taser on each other? We wanted to see which one was worse, man. And once again, I can say without a doubt, I'd rather douse myself in urine and take a lightning bolt to the face than ever deal with this crap again. Wait, again? How many times have you guys done this to each other? 3? No. This is the 4th time. You did pepper spray last time. Have you guys ever considered not reproducing?
It doesn't surprise me that people do this.
Yeah, there's a ton of these. I
want the Hatcher one you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep going. Let me see if I can find it just based on. Okay, stop. It's the one top left.
This one?
That one.
Why is the default mute? I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm obviously watching it. All right.
Hey, man, what's going on? What's going on is this dude is refusing to go to the hospital. That's because I don't need you to take me down to the hospital. The large metal object sticking out of your dome says otherwise. Come on, man. Who hasn't had a hatchet lodged in their head at least once? Me. You know what? Screw you guys. Come on, Sandy. You got a refusal form, right? Yeah. Hey, man, what's going on?
You see you in brain. That's crazy. I'm not going to the hospital, man.
Yeah. Very, very funny. Like I said, this guy's got a ton of them. I highly recommend if you want to get laugh, go check him out.
Very nice. Very cool. Well, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. And hey, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah, we did it.
Good timing.
Exactly. I think 2.5 hours we were probably pushing it. We were getting
I like right around 2 hours and 15 minutes last week. I just shut down. I was like, my brain just turned off. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, no, 2 hours is a good number.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, we want to thank you all so much for listening all the way through the episodes. We really appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
We appreciate all the feedback you guys give us. So always leave a comment, share the show with friends, and let us know how we're doing.
Exactly. And since you're listening, you already found us, but we are on all other platforms in case you have friends or family that don't like YouTube, for example. We're on BitChute, we're on Rumble, we're even on Odyssey as well. Hello, BitChute. That's right, BitChute. We have a nice listenership or viewership over there, so I'd like to give a shout out to them. And YouTube audience, thank you for all your comments and feedback. It's always great. And of course, Spotify and the podcasting platforms. You can find us on all of those. If you want to reach out to us or follow us on social media, we are exclusively on X and at UAP the podcast. I am at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher at all. Make sure to follow us. And if you want to tag us or something, or want us to cover something, we're more than happy to do so.
Absolutely.
And there's a support link in every single description. So if you can, I know it's tough time, so you really don't have to, but if you can, it'll be nice and a good tap on the back for us. It'll be really motivating. If not, then share this. That helps as well. Like it, put on your social media. And that the algorithms definitely help. I mean, that would definitely help the algorithms too. So
yeah, I mean, if you feel the need to support us, I will give 85% instead of my usual 83%.
83.
Yeah, that's about as much as I can muster on Sundays.
Sounds good.
I'm just kidding. I always give 100%. I have a need to know, Adam.
That was fun, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good episode. And will this episode do well? Only time will tell, Topher.
Nice one. Very cool.
We want to thank you all so much for listening. And give us some ideas of what to cover. I think it sounds like we're going to do the Betty Andreessen affair next week. And
sounds like it.
I'm going to have to re-listen to the audiobook because it is a really good story.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week then.
Yeah, man. We'll see you all next week.
Next week.
Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher, we come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies Podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps. do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies Podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps.